2 weeks before she died, Julie Jensen walked to her neighbor's door and handed over a sealed envelope. She looked ordinary. She sounded calm, but her words were not ordinary. She told the neighbors to give the envelope to police if anything ever happened to her. Then she went home to her husband and 2 boys. The neighbors, Ted and Margaret Voigt, did not open it. They placed it somewhere safe and tried to forget it. They hoped the day would never come. That morning was unremarkable. No screaming, no crying, just a woman making a quiet delivery. The envelope sat untouched until December 3rd, 1998, when Julie was found dead in her bed. Inside the envelope was a letter addressed to the Pleasant Prairie Police Department. Julie had written about her marriage in plain, direct language. She described how Mark had never forgiven her for an affair years earlier. She included a photograph of a list she had found in his day planner: own drug supply, bag hands, syringe. She stated clearly that she would never take her own life. Her sons, David and Douglas, were her entire world. If anything happened to her, she wrote, Mark Jensen should be the first person police investigated. She did not guess. She did not wonder. She named him. Then she sealed the envelope and walked away. Julie Carol Griffin was born in 1958, the only daughter among 4 brothers. She studied nursing but never finished. Her brother Paul said the coursework was not the issue. Julie felt things too deeply. She became attached to her patients and could not leave that weight at the hospital. She was built for love. That openness drew her to Mark Jensen when they were teenagers. He was ambitious, a stockbroker in motion. She believed in his energy. They married on April 14, 1984. The night before, her mother collapsed from alcoholism and depression. Julie carried that fear silently for the rest of her life, always watching herself for signs of the same collapse. After their first son, David, was born, Julie had a brief affair. She admitted it. She filed for divorce. Then she changed her mind. Counseling followed. They stayed together. A second son, Douglas, arrived in 1995. But Mark did not forgive her. Instead of leaving, something else began. Pornographic photographs appeared around the house and on the family vehicles. Hang-up calls came regularly. Julie kept a logbook. Officer Ron Cosman investigated for 4 years. He came to suspect Mark. A private investigator agreed. But Julie was not ready to believe that her husband was behind the torment. He was the father of her children. She held on to that. By October 1998, Julie's fear had changed. It was no longer a background weight. It was a specific expectation. She told her son's 3rd-grade teacher that Mark was going to kill her. She told neighbors. She called police. On the home computer, someone had searched for drugs and poisoning. In November, a search for toxicology led to a page about ethylene glycol, antifreeze. Julie found a list in Mark's day planner: own drug supply, bag hands, syringe. She photographed it. She did not fully understand what she was seeing, but she kept the image anyway. Some part of her knew she might need evidence later. She was documenting her own death before it happened. On December 1st, 1998, Julie saw her family doctor, Richard Borman. She was miserable and distraught, her marriage crushing her. He gave her Paxil samples and offered counseling. She left without real help. The next day, Mark visited the same doctor. He said Julie was having trouble sleeping. Borman prescribed Ambien. The doctor later testified that if he had known the full truth, he would have hospitalized her. But he did not know. He thought he was treating a woman in marital distress. He did not know he was treating a woman who was already being poisoned. 2 visits, 2 different stories. One woman would be dead within 48 hours. On December 3rd, 1998, Mark Jensen called 911. Julie was unresponsive in their bed. Emergency services pronounced her dead at the scene. Mark said she had been sick for about 3 days. No violence, no struggle, just a slow decline. First responders saw nothing suspicious, no trauma, no signs of a fight. But a child had noticed something. Eric Schuer, a friend of the Jensen's 8-year-old son David, later testified that David had told him Julie was sick and that Mark would not take her to the hospital. That conversation happened on December 3rd, the day she died. A child knew. The adults did not act. Mark Jensen was charged in March 2002, more than 3 years after Julie's death. His defense claimed Julie had poisoned herself to frame him. The prosecution presented the computer searches, his affair with Kelly Labonte, and a co-worker named Ed Klug who said Mark had once discussed undetectable poison. A jailhouse informant claimed Mark confessed to spiking Julie's orange juice and suffocating her with a pillow. The jury asked to see Julie's letter during deliberations. After 30 hours, they returned a guilty verdict. First-degree intentional homicide, life without parole. Julie's brothers wept, but the legal fight was only beginning. The letter would not survive appeal. Mark's lawyers argued that Julie's letter violated his Sixth Amendment right to confront witnesses. She was dead. He could never cross-examine her. In 2021, the Wisconsin Supreme Court agreed. Julie's statements were testimonial accusations, and without proof that Mark killed her specifically to prevent her testimony, the letter could not be used. A new trial was ordered. The prosecution had to rebuild without the single most powerful piece of evidence. No letter, no voicemails, no direct accusation from the grave. 25 years after Julie died, a new jury sat down. They would hear everything except her voice. The case would have to stand on fragments. The second trial opened in January 2023. Without the letter, prosecutors used the computer timeline, the affair, and the witnesses who saw Mark laughing at Julie's wake. Ruth Vorwald told the jury it felt like watching someone erase a person. Mark's own sister testified that Julie had been offered a place to stay. She had refused, planning to leave after the holidays. The defense's own toxicologist conceded under cross-examination that the evidence was not inconsistent with suffocation. The jury deliberated 6.5 hours. On February 1, 2023, Mark Jensen was found guilty again. The sentencing fell on April 14th, the anniversary of his wedding to Julie. Life without parole. Twice convicted, twice sealed.